The demon of wine and alcoholism and the corruption of God's servants. By God's grace, we shall discover what happens when we drink alcohol, wine, whiskey, and all the strong liquors. This experience happened to me on a Saturday, the 11th of January 2014. On that day I did experience death and I was transported to the afterlife for 10 hours. After visiting the abode of the dead and paradise, I found myself before the throne of the Lord Jesus Christ. What surprised me is how the Lord shifted the dialogue. We were having discussions about the end times and the last judgment to the demon of beer and alcoholism. Firstly, the Lord Jesus was on his throne and he began to talk to me about the mystery concerning the eternal kingdom of heaven, and he talked to me about the mystery of the four living creatures. Then the Lord Jesus Christ turned to a huge eagle and he took me on his wings and we started to fly. We landed in a place where he was explaining to me about the end times. He showed me the court where the last judgment will take place. After that, we continued to fly and we ended up in a forest on earth. As we were flying over this forest, we were hovering in space. Then I saw a lion moving. The Lord Jesus then asked me, "What do you see, O man?" I replied, "Lord, I can see a lion." Then the Lord said to me, "A lion is an image of royalty. It is an image of the law and the power that I gave to Adam, the man that I placed in the forest and the Garden of Eden to cultivate it. But the man allowed himself to be dominated by the power and influence of the things he was supposed to dominate in that garden and forest." The Lord Jesus said, "The spirit of the forest has concluded pacts and covenants with many pastors and many missionaries behind their backs without their realization. They entered an unconscious covenant with that spirit." The Lord Jesus said, "It was not long after the years of revival in 1863 that my servants, the pastors and missionaries, began to enter into covenants with the spirit of the forest and vegetation subconsciously." The Lord Jesus Christ told me that the spirit who is responsible for the downfall of the revival churches since 1863 is Dionis, the angel of wine and alcoholism. His mission was to push pastors, evangelists, and missionaries into drunkenness. But they did not know that by being attached to wine, they were taken over and animated by the spirit and complex of grandeur and greatness. They began to desire material things of prestige like great buildings, great clothes, vices, etc. The Lord Jesus said that by being attached to wine, they were even solicited in occultism. They were manipulated, but they were ignorant about the spiritual implication of wine and alcohol. The Lord Jesus said, "It is written in my word, who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaining? Who has wounds without cause? Who has redness of eyes? Those who linger long over wine. Those who go to taste mixed wine. Do not look on the wine when it is red, when it sparkles in the cup, when it goes down smoothly. At last, it bites like a serpent and stings like a viper. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things." Proverbs 23:29-33. The Lord Jesus asked me, "What is it that stings people inside wine?" Then the Lord himself answered that question. He said, "There is a demon in wine and his purpose is to sting those who are consuming it. He is the fallen angel Dionis." Beloved, you can see pictures of this demon on some wine and whiskey bottles holding an arrow in his hands. The arrow held by Dionis is his controlling and manipulating power on the lives of consumers of wine, whiskey, alcohol, and strong liquors. The Lord Jesus told me that Dionis watches over the lives of alcohol consumers. He monitors details of their lives. In fact, he monitors their blood, their sperm, their breast milk in case of women. And he collaborates with the demon of urine called Rofocale. This is the demon of witchcraft who cast a spell on people. This demon assists Dionis in getting people to be on alcohol dependency through a spell he cast on them. The Lord Jesus said to me that Dionis monitor and use the sperm in order to cause the consumer of wine and alcohol to have children who are already possessed from the wombs of their mothers, and these children will be animated with the spirit of vices. This demon will cause anomaly, malformation, and imperfection in the child to be born. Beloved, I understood from this word of the Lord that drinking wine, whiskey, alcohol, and beer will undermine my posterity as the demon attacks the sperm. The Lord Jesus said to me that through breast milk, the plan of the devil is that children should be born and grow up with a dose of alcohol so that he can disrupt several metabolism cycles in the development of these children. The devil has organized himself in order to transcend mystically wine and alcohol consumers during the state of drunkenness. And during the state of drunkenness, Dionysus places in the consumers of alcohol a spirit of disorder, loss of prudence and exaggeration beyond normal limits. And during the state of drunkenness, there are demons from the desert in the name of satyrs, in the shape of goats who are directed by Dionysus to indwell the drinkers of alcohol and cause them to become drunkards. It is clear that drinking alcoholic beer is a doorway for bewitchment and an invitation of desert demons of drunkenness. We were still hovering this forest with the Lord Jesus Christ, who was in the shape of a huge eagle. The Lord said to me, "Be careful, because these demons are responsible for the downfall of the house of Job, as his children were accustomed to celebration and festivities." The Lord Jesus said, "Many pastors became attached to wine and alcohol because right from the beginning, they did not know that in the first contact, it is the devil that has already entered and possessed them. The snake has taken power over them." When you observe pictures or depiction of Dionysus, you will notice that he is often naked or half naked because he is the demon of fantasy and sexual impulse. That is why many pastors today are in sexual immorality resulting from their attachment to wine, alcoholic beer, and whiskey. If you check pastors who are lusting and sleeping with women, you will notice that they drink wine and whiskey in secret, failing to understand that this demon of vegetation Dionysus is controlling them. The Lord Jesus said to me, in Dionysus depictions and pictures, you will notice that he is riding a donkey, a panther, and a goat. Then the Lord began to explain to me that these are demons or spirits assisting him in his work of destruction on alcoholic consumers. The Lord Jesus said that the panther is the demon of aggression, which is one of the characteristics of a drunkard. The donkey is the demon of forgetfulness transferred to consumers of alcohol. They will forget about their wives and families, about their budgets. They will forget about their responsibilities. The Lord Jesus said to me, "Tell the world that wine, alcohol, and whiskey are aphrodisiacs that heighten sexual stimulations in drinkers." The goat is the demon of dependency on alcohol, from which this proverb originated from, "Once a thief, always a thief." This is a dependency. As we were hovering this forest, the Lord Jesus gave me Proverbs 23:29-30. Who hath woe? Who hath sorrow? Who hath contentions? Who hath babbling? Who hath wounds without cause? Who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color, in the cup when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Then the Lord Jesus said to me, "Consumers of alcohol will find themselves with injuries," and he asked me, "Where do these injuries come from?" The Lord answered, "From the biting of the snake." The snake is biting his victims by means of wine and alcohol consumption. Jesus said, "This is the answer to Jeremiah's questions." Then the Lord gave Jeremiah 8:20-22, "The harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. For the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt, I am black, astonishment hath taken hold on me. Is there no balm in Gilead, is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered?" The Lord said, "This is due to the injuries caused by the snake hidden in the wine." He caused people injuries through wine and alcoholic beer. In beer, there is a snake. In fact, alcohol and wine hand over their consumers to Dionysus. If you have been consuming alcoholic wine, you need deliverance. One day I was walking in the street. There was a bar around and the people were drinking and relaxing when suddenly the Lord opened my eyes. I saw this demon of alcohol inside a glass of beer that a man was drinking. Actually, the demon has shrunk and reduced his size and height to fit himself into that glass of beer. As I was watching this demon inside that glass of beer, he noticed that I saw him. He looked at me in my eyes and I looked at him. When our eyes crossed, I felt so bad and troubled. That night I was really uncomfortable. Just imagine someone drinking a beer with a demon inside the glass. I forgot to tell you that this demon was in the shape of a frog and sitting inside the glass of beer. This is troubling. Beloved, there is a demon in that glass of wine and whiskey or alcohol that you drink. He may be in the shape of a frog, I don't know, but if you are a wine bibber, a whiskey sipper or a beer guzzler, you need deliverance. The demon of wine and alcoholism and the